節目當中，亦都揭示咗西醫霸權陰暗嘅一面。
Now, this is a story of a man, a dairy farmer, who came back from the dead. Doctors were all set to turn off his life support, but his family refused to give up. They demanded the hospital try high doses of vitamin C. Well, as Melanie Reid will show you, it turned into a fight. The specialists didn't believe such a treatment would work, but, well, suffice to say, the farmer is no longer on death's door, and his family claim he's living proof.
This is Aotearoa farmer Alan Smith in Auckland's intensive care unit shortly before the doctors told his family his life support should be turned off and he'd be allowed to die. Alan's story began on June 28, 2009. He arrived at Auckland International Airport after a fishing trip with mates in Fiji. He caught a connecting flight to Tauranga where his launch is moored and was joined by his wife Sonia.
I woke up in the night and he was really hot, so I gave him some Panadol and that cooled him off a bit much because later on he was so... I woke up again and he was just like, he was laying there just stone cold and just laying there still as, and I thought, oh my God, the first thing that came to my mind was, God, he's dead.
In Tauranga Hospital, Alan was swabbed for swine flu. After 2 days, his deterioration was so dramatic, the 3 sons and 8 grandchildren arrived, warned this could be a final goodbye.
Just seeing him just in an induced coma and everything like that just was horrible. I mean, yet that was the beginning.
A specialist crew flew in from Auckland with a portable ECMO machine, a complex life support system which takes over the function of the lungs. All the grandkids had surrounded their papa before he was airlifted north. As Alan lay in a coma in Auckland Hospital, heavily medicated, ECMO and other machines keeping him alive, these are those clouded out X-rays. Alan developed what's known as whiteout pneumonia. This is when the lungs can't be seen by X-ray, so full of infected fluids they are unable to take in any air whatsoever. For weeks on end, Alan's condition changed little, hovering close to death.
And when it got to 3 weeks, it was really getting scary then.
Just as the family thought things couldn't get any worse, Alan was diagnosed with hairy cell leukemia. Auckland Hospital notes to the family say,
the type of leukemia Mr. Smith has is potentially treatable if that's all he had. However, with his lung failure, Mr. Smith cannot survive.
While Auckland Hospital refused to take part in this story, 60 Minutes has obtained Alan Smith's medical files and records of that Monday meeting.
This morning, we, the CVICU consultants, met and discussed with the ECMO specialist from America, Mr. Smith's situation. The group is in unanimous agreement that Mr. Smith should be removed from ECMO and be allowed to die. Continuing is only prolonging his inevitable death.
My brother just stepped in and he said, no, you haven't tried everything. You've got to try vitamin C, intravenously high doses. And they just said, no.
The family pleaded with doctors that Alan be administered high-dose vitamin C, a treatment right outside of mainstream medicine. So what was the doctor's reaction?
Oh, they said no because there's no proof of it doing anything or doing anyone any good. Or my mind was just spinning because they wanted to turn him off, and I'm thinking, oh, I hope we can get through this. And with that, Paul and Shane walked in.
That's your sons?
Yes, 2 of our boys. They walked in and then, they really stood their ground.
They were all about to find out if they'd pushed hard enough. The next day, Tuesday, Auckland Hospital arranged another family meeting.
All of intensive care unit medical staff have met again. We are all in agreement that vitamin C will be of no benefit. We all agree Mr. Smith will not survive. However, one member feels slightly uneasy that we should wait a little longer before taking Mr. Smith off ECMO. It's therefore reasonable to wait until Friday. If Mr. Smith has shown no improvement by then, he will be taken off ECMO. In the meantime, given the family's strong beliefs about vitamin C, we are willing to give this over the next 2 days.
So Tuesday night, he got his first dose of 25 grams through the IV, and Wednesday morning he got another 25 grams. The Wednesday afternoon they did a CT scan on his chest, and that's when they found the air pockets in his lungs, whereas the x-rays had showed just complete white.
So Alan's x-rays. Before high-dose intravenous vitamin C, so full of infected fluid, the lungs can't be seen. This x-ray taken after 2 days of high-dose vitamin C treatment. The lungs dramatically improved and readily visible. By D-Day, the Friday when Alan Smith was destined to die, when the ECMO life support was to be withdrawn, turned out to be the day Alan Smith was destined to, well, maybe survive.
Mr. Smith is stable but still critical. He has improved over the last couple of days. Turning Mr. Smith prone has probably made the biggest difference. His chest x-ray is better.
So less than a week after the high-dose vitamin C was started, Alan had improved to the point that he could be taken off ECMO life support. Then, just as the family felt they could breathe a bit easy themselves, Alan's health started to dive. They would find the vitamin C had been stopped.
This time, a different consultant was there, and he was just so adamant against it. He sat back in his chair, rolled his eyes and crossed his arms and looked at the ceiling and said, "No, not putting him back on it. No, no."
Did he make you feel like you would have been an idiot?
He did, and it's the first time everyone had hit someone.
3 days later, the vitamin C was restarted, but only very low doses of 1 gram twice a day. By early August, still critical and still in an induced coma, but by now breathing on a ventilator, Alan was airlifted closer to home, to intensive care at Waikato Hospital, who, like Auckland Hospital, wouldn't be interviewed. It was here the Smith family found they had another scrap on their hands.
A doctor comes on and stops it. And
Stops the vitamin C?
stops the vitamin C.
And he says what?
And I said, why? And he said, well, this stuff has come down with him and we don't know what it is. So here we go again, another fight.
This time they brought in the heavyweights. Wellington public law specialist May Chen warned Waikato Hospital.
The decision to discontinue the high-dose intravenous vitamin C treatment without consulting with Alan's family is in breach of Right 7 of the Health and Disability Commissioner's Code.
There was even a threat, wasn't there, that you would go to the High Court?
Yes, we would. Well, this is someone's life we're dealing with, not just anything, Once he's dead, you can't get him back. And we weren't going to let that happen.
So they agreed to give him a couple of grams of vitamin C a day.
Yeah.
And you wanted him to be on like 50 grams a day.
That's right. Yeah.
So they kind of said, yes, we'll do it, but didn't really do it anyway.
No, that's right.
Slowly recovered, and it wasn't until we got some oral lipospheric vitamin C into him, and that's when he once again recovered really fast.
After a total of 9 weeks in a coma, Alan eventually was woken, which is when Sonia began administering vitamin C to Alan herself, using a special high-dose oral form known as lipospheric. The next step was meant to be months of rehabilitation.
Yeah, I was taking 6 grams of that a day, of the lipospheric. And of course, when I had to go to rehab again to learn to walk, I was told I'd be there for 3 months. Well, in 3 months, I did not like the sound of that. But I walked out of that hospital in 1 day, under 14 days. And even the doctors were absolutely disbelieved that I could come right so quick.
喺呢段影片中，最後亦都提及 Alan Smith 係服用脂質性維他命 C， 使到佢痊愈。脂質體利用磷脂雙分子層膜形成嘅囊泡包裹藥物分子，從而形成製劑 preparations。由於人體質膜嘅基本結構亦都係磷脂雙分子層膜，因此脂質體有好好嘅生物相容性。當脂質體進入人體之後，佢會被免疫系統視為入侵者，於是佢會被體內嘅網狀內皮系統吞噬，從而喺肝、脾、肺同骨髓等組織裡面靶向性集中。磷脂係構成脂質體嘅主要化學成分，其中最具代表性嘅係卵磷脂。卵磷脂主要嚟自蛋黃同埋大豆，製備成本低，性質穩定，屬於中性磷脂。現時已經有營養補充品應用呢一種技術生產脂質性維他命 C。以下就讓我哋睇睇脂質性維他命 C 嘅原理。
Traditional supplements like tablets, capsules, powders, and even some nutrients from your diet are not processed and absorbed efficiently by your body and are passed as waste, never making it into your cells where they're needed most. Live On Lab's patented lipospheric delivery system maximizes the absorption of nutrients by using liposomes. Liposomes are microscopic liquid-filled spheres made from essential phospholipids. This structure not only protects the active nutrient from destruction in the digestive system, but also allows liposomes to seamlessly deliver nutrients to cells in the body. Within minutes of ingesting lipospheric supplements, our nutrient-filled liposomes enter the bloodstream intact and release their active nutrients directly to the cells. Live On Lab's lipospheric encapsulation technology is the most efficient way to deliver nutrients orally, outperforming all other forms of supplements.
雖然脂質性維他命 C 嘅售價高昂，但係其實只要幾個簡單嘅步驟，大家亦都可以喺家中自行製作脂質性維他命 C， 唔需要購買市面上嘅製成品。但係要記住，製作好嘅脂質性維他命 C 要存放喺雪櫃內，否則只能夠存放3日。大家
按哪里？这里。
按这里。